Yo, what is up, guys? It is Great Zage, and this is What If Naruto Had Katakuri's Powers, Part 6. I am super excited for this part, guys. We're going to go into a lot of detail here. We're not going to go that much into detail, but, I'm trying to get better at my storytelling, trying to get less stuttering. I'm trying to improve each time. Trying to make myself better than I already want. Like, trying to make myself better each time. Go push past my limits. So I really hope you guys do enjoy this what if. By the way, I'm not always going to make my what ifs like 1 hour or like really long, considering the fact that, I love doing what ifs and everything, but like that hurts my throat, and I'm not trying to lose my voice for this stuff, alright? But I hope you guys do enjoy, and either way, let's begin.
She gripping that dick like she was a lost star. She party at night like she was a rock star. She singing my song like Bill She calling me daddy, but not a father. Lil' Billy been thirsty like big as some water. Could give you the world with the wave of a wand. We feel y'all, bitch, Cosmo Wanda.
Alright, guys, let's begin this what if. So we begin with Naruto, who has now currently just been walking around the village, as he has now begun his training, considering the fact they finally had time for the 1 month training. He's been currently training with Anko, as he was not really training to learn her fighting technique or anything. No, he was trying to learn how to move. You see, back in the Forest of Death, he was really inspired by the way how Orochimaru moved. Considering the fact that if he was able to move like that, he'll be able to avoid attacks, and actually it would greatly benefit him. Especially since the fact he can go at very fast speeds that he can't even believe he could go. And considering the fact that his body is made out of mochi, he could literally do it. Like, there's no stopping him. So yes, he's been trying to figure out how to move like Orochimaru, but also trying to incorporate it into his own style. Another thing he has been trying to do is open the 8 inner gates. Yes, that's right. However, he's not learning the Goken style. He had been trying to finding, Maito Guy, as he wanted to learn how to do it, which Guy actually was, willing to teach him how to use the Goken. However, he just shrugged him off, saying that he didn't want to learn it, only know how to open the gates. But this guy would begin to explain about, he can't really do it unless he knows how to do it, unless he can't really just do it like that, and, if he doesn't know how to control it, it could kill him. But he just said that he will learn it himself, so Guy would allow him to do it. So we now cut to now, as he was just walking around the village. He had finished talking to Ayame, which was, he had stopped by to talk there a couple of times, whenever he ordered his daily ramen and donuts, as he would have actually just been there. Now, he would just currently just be walking around the village, as Kakashi would actually be there with his book. Oh, Naruto, I've been actually wondering when you were ever gonna, show up to me, he would say. At this, Naruto would just walk past him, saying, I already know you're gonna train Sasuke and not me. You don't have to go ahead and, wait for me to go ahead and ask you, he would say. At this, he would never stop walking and just walk past him, causing Kakashi to actually look down a little bit in shame, considering the fact that it was true, he was actually forced to actually train Sasuke. So, yeah, however, Kakashi already knew that Naruto was way above his level. In fact, if anything, Naruto was definitely way above getting level. Heck, he was stronger than most Jonins that he even knew. He would even put him on par on his level. Yes, Kakashi would actually think that Naruto's on his level, if not even further. As Naruto would just be walking around the village, he would then be stopped until he goes ahead and looks on his right to see a man with long white hair and dressed in oddly clothing looking over the woman's back. Great, a pervert. Better to avoid it, he would think, as he begins to walk away, until suddenly a voice would then say, Hey, you, the one with the yellow hair, he would say. At this, Naruto, already knowing who was calling out to him, would then turn his head to see Jiraiya, who was now just looking at him. At this, he would go ahead and look at the Toad, as Jiraiya had to admit this kid was freakishly tall, especially for someone his age. Now, if he were to estimate how tall, he was like I would say he was around Jiraiya's chest. Like, he was around as tall as 75% of Jiraiya. As Jiraiya actually really looking at this kid in shock, he would actually, snap out of it. So, hey kid, what's your name? He would ask. At this, Naruto really already knowing who this person was, already begins to explain who he was and what he was doing, considering the fact that it was no use in trying to bother with the Toad Sage. At this, Jiraiya was actually, surprised that this kid was actually, Naruto, considering the fact that he had read reports about the kid. And if anything, he did not expect the kid to be like this. He has a calm, nurtured tone, and those eyes, they look like someone of a veteran. How long has he been a Genin? At this, he shouldn't have been a Genin for that long, so he didn't really understand how could he look like this or be like this, but he shrugged it off. So kid, what exactly are you doing now? He would ask. And this, Naruto would just say that he was training for the exams, Oh, I'm training for the exams too, so I can become a Chunin, he would say. At this, Jiraiya will actually look at him and he then says, let's see, you're calm, nice, and you're pretty diligent. Alright, kid, how about I train you, he would say. At this, Naruto would actually go ahead and look at him as he then shakes his head. As much as I'm grateful for the offer, I refuse. At this, Jiraiya would just look at him like, what? Kid, you do know who's asking you to train? Me, Jiraiya, the great Toad Sage, he would say. At this, Naruto would nod. However, he begins to explain how his fighting style is not really meant for someone like him, and that he wasn't really gonna, use his fighting style. At this, Jiraiya would then think, what's wrong with my fighting style? Doesn't he know it's one of the best? At this, Jiraiya would actually think that maybe this kid has, maybe he was too arrogant in his fighting and everything. So he actually challenges him, saying that if he's actually able to beat Jiraiya in a fight, then he would no longer challenge him or anything. At this, Naruto actually wanted to think about it, as he could already tell one thing. Even though with all his training and everything, he wasn't 100% sure how he measured up to a Sannin, especially Jiraiya. He had read up a lot about the legendary Sannin and their power, and yes, even though it's been a couple of years, he still didn't know how powerful he was. Although, against his fight as Orochimaru, he knew that Orochimaru was not really going all out, so yeah. But he guessed this would be a perfect opportunity, considering the fact that Jiraiya was one of the strongest in the legendary Sannin. In fact, he might even be the strongest. Alright, I'll accept you on that offer. At this, Jiraiya then smiles and says, alright, then follow me. As we now do a change of scene, we see, Naruto and Jiraiya as they were both in the Team 7 training ground. At this, Jiraiya would then say, nice training ground, and I see you're under Kakashi. At this, Naruto would nod, as he then goes ahead and shows his cool demeanor, arms crossed over his chest, as he goes ahead and stands, he stares down at Jiraiya. Now at this, Jiraiya would actually be looking at the kid and just think, yup, definitely those eyes. It's like he's been in a fight for a long time, you would think. As he goes ahead, takes a stance, he then says, well, kid, show me what you got. Now, at this, Naruto does not waste any time, instantly using Kaku Mochi, turning his arm into squares, and using his arm in Haki to go ahead and reinforce his punches. This would shock Jiraiya as he goes ahead and sees Naruto vanish, shocking him. What? Where did he? However, he had to go ahead and dodge a punch that was directly toward his face as Naruto had appeared right in front of him. This kid. As he sees Naruto's eyes looming down at him, almost as a predator going after its prey. As Jiraiya would have to go ahead and begin to dodge and, counter against the attacks, he realized that his attacks are almost as hard as Tsunade's. And he wasn't even amplifying chakra to them. Now, while Jiraiya thinks of this, he'll go ahead and dodge another punch by Naruto, as he will once again be surprised as Naruto's leg would then turn into Mochi as he then shoots a kick at him. Yanagi. Mochi, he would say, in his mind, of course, as he goes ahead and shoots the kick, where he goes ahead and uses the Mochi to latch onto Jiraiya, dragging him close to him again, as he then slams his foot onto the ground, as by the time the attack was done, Jiraiya was underneath Naruto's foot. What the hell? Jiraiya would think in pain. As he then thinks, this kid, he's definitely not on the Genin level. At this, he needs to do a Kaminari or a substitution jutsu, of course, as he switches with a log, appearing behind a tree. This kid, how the heck is he? At this, Naruto would then appear right in front of him. I train really hard, that's why. Jiraiya would go wide-eyed. He had to dodge another kick, which goes ahead and completely destroys the tree, once again shocking him as he once again out in the open. How did he know what I was going to ask? At this, he would have to dodge another... He would have to go ahead... He would see like another punch heading his way from the Kaku Mochi fist, as he then go blitz through hand signs. Earth style! Earth wall, he would say, At this, a huge wall of earth will go ahead and appear right in front of Jiraiya to protect him, of course. However, the attack will just go right through the wall, punching Jiraiya in the face, actually pushing him back a lot. Damn it, he would think. At this, he'll go ahead and do a backflip, of course, and then blitz through handstands again. Fire style! Flaming bullet, he would say, shooting a flaming bullet at Naruto. At this, Naruto would actually see the attack and dodge it already, considering the fact he already saw it coming. Come on, I know he could do better than this. At this, Jiraiya will go ahead and, now land, as he then thinks, yup, there's no point in trying to do this. This kid is definitely worth it now. Jiraiya had been trying to hold back, trying to make sure to not go overboard with this kid, but he has to now. This kid has proven that he's not just, weak or anything. No, this kid is definitely stronger than he lets on. As suddenly he has to go ahead, you go ahead and see that Naruto was already launching another Yanagi Mochi, or if you guys don't know, Willow Mochi, as a kick was right now going after him. At this, his hair will begin to, enlarge itself, begin to wrap around him. This will be another jutsu of his called Nido Jizu. I don't know if I said that right. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Ninja art Nido Jizu. I don't know how to. I don't know. Zizo. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't think I said that right. But still, let me continue on. Now, if you guys hear, stuff in the background, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't, like I said, there's not really much quiet places here. But still, let me continue on. Now, at this, Jiraiya will go ahead and luckily be able to avoid the attack for now. However, he would then think, damn it, I'm going to have to wash my hair after this. Considering some of the mochi got stuck in Jiraiya's hair and he had to, wash it later. However, that's when he didn't realize, I can't use Nido Jozu anymore. Or Jizo, I don't know how to say the technique right. As considering the fact that his hair was now all sticky and everything, he can't really activate the jutsu anymore. As he would then turn to, Naruto completely in shock. At this, Naruto was now, calculating in his mind, as now the stage was completely set. At this, Naruto would go ahead, bend down, as he then says, Nagiri Mochi, he would say. At this, the ground would then turn into Mochi itself, shocking Jiraiya, as he was now on Mochi now. What is this? He would say. At this, Naruto will go ahead and look at him, as he then thinks, this is definitely the moment to test out my ability. Kagami Mochi, he would think in his mind. At this, a wall of Mochi would then begin to envelop Jiraiya, causing him to be stuck in the Mochi. What did you do? He would say, as he tries to get out of it, but he can't, as the Mochi seems to have hardened and making him stuck in it, unable to move. At this, now that Jiraiya was stuck, Naruto will go ahead and use this opportunity. Mochi Gatling, he would think. At this, multiple arms of Mochi would then extend from his back, as Jiraiya would then think, oh, no, if he hits me with that. As all of them would be having, the armament hockey on us, he would begin to launch towards Jiraiya, as Jiraiya would then be bombarded by multiple fists. However, then again, Jiraiya has a lot of endurance, considering the fact that he got beaten up by Tsunade and multiple other women, as he would begin to get beaten up brutally. At this, Jiraiya would actually be in complete shock, considering the fact that this beating was worse than heck most of the women that he took beating from. As by the end of it, Jiraiya's face was actually pretty bloody, and also he had a broken arm. This guy. He would go ahead and, get up, as he then thinks, there's no point now. If I hold back, I'll definitely die. At this, Jiraiya will go ahead and bite down on his stomach, as he wants to really see what this kid really has. So with that, he'll go ahead and actually do a certain amount of hand signs, as he then finishes. Summoning Jutsu, he would say. At this, Naruto would actually narrow his eyes at him, trying to find out what he was planning to do, until suddenly two frogs would then appear. Or actually two toads. Dang it, Jiraiya, what the heck did you summon us for? Said Paul, as he goes ahead and looks at Jiraiya. At this, Jiraiya will go ahead and bow down to them, as this would be Ma and Paul. I'm sorry for summoning you, said Jiraiya, as he goes ahead and explains to them about the situation, that he really wants to test this kid, and this kid is becoming more of a challenge than he even thought so. At this, Ma and Paul thought at first that Jiraiya was even crazy for even thinking that he needs to summon them for some kid. But then again, well, this just seemed, well, the way he was describing it, I guess it was okay. Although if the kid could keep it with Sage Mode, which they highly doubt, that would be something that they actually need to see. At this, they'll both jump on Jiraiya's shoulders as he begins to gather in nature energy, shocking Naruto considering the fact that he senses it. What is this feeling? It seems to make him more powerful, you would think. As by the time Jiraiya was done, his makeup would have changed completely, actually looking resembling more of a toad, as he had finally finished. Alright, Gakken, or alright, brat, time for me to show you what I have, he says. As right now, Naruto was now facing Jiraiya, the Toad Sage, from Mount Minaboku in Sage Mode. And Naruto, looking at this, will go ahead and actually think, the abilities that he has right now, he truly is the definition of a legendary Sani, he would think. As he'll go ahead and instantly begin to instantly realize that this was now the time for him to go all out. As by now, he will go ahead and make 2 Muzo donuts. As the ground of Mochi will go ahead and begin to circle up in the air, causing 2 ginormous arms of Mochi to appear. Chakara Mochi, he would say. At this, the 2 arms will go ahead and shoot out, as well as his arms will then be covered with a layer of Mochi on his arms, allowing him to actually control the 2 arms. At this, Mom and Pop would look at this and then say, this boy, Jiraiya, just who the heck is he? He would say. At this, Jiraiya would then say, Naruto Uzumaki. Now, this will cause both of them to be in shock, as Jiraiya would then have to begin to dodge multiple attacks from the Muzo Donuts or the Chakara Mochi as they go ahead and begin to shoot after him, causing Jiraiya to dodge. What, Jiraiya? This is the boy? Said Ma and Paul during their dodging, of course, as he was just nod, saying that they didn't really have enough time to chat right now, as the kid was being ruthless. At this, Naruto wouldn't think, I really had to show I really need to go ahead and push myself, he would say. At this, he continued going ahead and barraging Jiraiya with punches, of course, with Jiraiya dodging them, as he actually begins to think that, this kid is fairly powerful and fast, as Naruto was not even going all out yet. Yes, that's right, Naruto was not going 100% all out. As Jiraiya would go ahead and begin to, move faster, he would then appear right in front of Naruto, actually shocking the boy until he uses his Mochi to dodge one of the palm strikes or one of the frog kata that were actually going to his chest, as Jiraiya would be in shock by it. What the heck? He would think. At this, he would then see as Naruto goes ahead and knees him in the chin, sending him flying. Yeah, dang it, he would say. At this, Naruto would now use this opportunity as he then says, alright, let's see if I can go ahead and use that same power from before. At this, multiple Muzo donuts would form and more Shakata Mochis would form until he finally forms the Mochi Ginchaku. I don't know if I said that right. But practically he has multiple ginormous arms of Mochi in the air right now, as Jiraiya would just be surrounded by all of them, as he was stuck in the dome full of them. Jiraiya would think, as he thinks this brat is gonna kill him right here, right now. As Naruto would begin to go ahead and pull up all the stops, not even, trying to see how he got all out against Jiraiya the Toad Sage. He began to go ahead and barrage him with a bunch of the punches, as this caused Jiraiya to go all out, actually beginning to dodge all of them. Alright, this is getting way too out of hand, he would think, as he dodges more and more of them, but it was not working out as much, as he actually began to feel pain, actually getting hit by some of them. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This is just not fair anymore. He will continue dodging and dodging more and more of them, as he goes ahead, as he begins to slow down, considering the fact that he was still on the Mochi ground, and that was sort of, hindering his movements. Damn it, he would yell. At this, he would go ahead and finally had enough, as more of the Muzo donuts were forming, as Naruto was right now, trying to make sure that he was trapped. At this, Jiraiya, now pulling off all the stops, would then say, that's enough! He'll go ahead and begin to form it, the Rasengan. As the blue orb began to spin, it began to grow larger and larger in size until it actually destroys all the Muzo donuts, shocking Naruto. As Jiraiya would have a gallant Rasengan in his arm, on his hand actually. At this, he would then say, "Well, kid, I have to admit, you actually showed me more than I actually expected. But this ends now," he would say, as he goes ahead and vanishes and appear right in front of Naruto. As Naruto would see that ginormous attack heading to him, he would then say, "Such a powerful attack. I can see already so many effective uses for it," he would think. However, he was not gonna end it. He was not gonna let it end here. At this, he would then say, "Mochi Mochi, elephant gun!" He would yell actually out loud, as suddenly his arm would then turn into Mochi as it begins to extend, getting even bigger and bigger until it's as big as the Gallant Rasengan. Actually, no, bigger than the Gallant Rasengan, shocking Jiraiya. What? He would say, as suddenly both of the attacks collide, as this would cause a ginormous explosion to go off, actually shaking the village of Konoha. What the heck is happening?" said most of the people, while Hiruzen actually already sensing and knowing the chakras that were being, already knowing all this happening, would then think, "Jiraiya, just how far did you go? And Naruto, how did you push him so far?" he would yell, actually can't believing his eyes. As there would actually be a ginormous spiraling, like everyone would just see a blue light coming from Training Ground 7, as it would actually shoot all the way up into the sky. However, finally, after a while, the light would go down. As we go ahead and see in Training Ground 7, Jiraiya was panting and was just, out of his sage mode. Ma and Pa were both on the ground as they were actually both pretty exhausted. "That kid is a freaking monster," thought Jiraiya. As when he looks over to see Naruto, he will just be in complete shock that Naruto was completely fine. Not even a damage, not even a scratch on him. As Naruto's hand and Mochi would then return back to normal, as he'll go ahead and have his arms crossed over his chest. As Jiraiya would then think, "This is the son of Minato and Kushina. This is my godson." And the fact that he wasn't even using chakra. And that was the most shocking thing. Jiraiya didn't even sense him using chakra during this entire fight. As Jiraiya was now just, contemplating life itself, as he sees Naruto walk up to him. "I appreciate the battle, Jiraiya the Toad Sage," he would say, bowing down to him. At this, Jiraiya would just look at the kid and says, "Kid, are you freaking human? What are you?" he would ask. At this, Naruto will go ahead and look at him and says, "Yes, Jiraiya the Toad Sage, I am human." At this, Jiraiya would then say, "You can call me Jiraiya, They don't really have to do that Toad Sage business." At this, he would just nod. As Jiraiya would then say, "Well, kid, I have to admit, I'm disappointed that I lost. But you know what? This is making me even more want to train you. How about this? I train you how to learn a super cool technique. The Rasengan that I use, you could learn it." At this, Naruto has actually had his interest piqued. Him learning the Rasengan would not be a bad idea. At this, Naruto would actually, shrug his shoulders until he looks at him. "And what about that thing that you did?" he would ask. At this, Jiraiya would, wonder what he meant until he actually hears the voice of Ma and Pa saying that they were leaving now. As, he would then say, "Oh, that," he would think. He would go ahead and explain Sage Mode to Naruto, really getting into all the details about it, not considering the fact that he doesn't really want to learn it and everything. As Naruto would actually be intrigued by it. Sage Mode would actually may boost his observation haki and even push him to go even further than he ever did before. So at this, he really actually wanted to learn it. So with that, Jiraiya not having actually anything else to teach the boy, would decide to teach him the Rasengan and Sage Mode. As we do a time skip to a month. Actually, no, to 3 weeks. So 3 weeks have passed, and it was finally time for the exams, as everyone was so excited and everything. Naruto had become fairly powerful, and actually was already like one of the strongest people that you were ever gonna meet. As Naruto already demonstrating that he was definitely on the signing level. as Hiruzen even contemplated if he could even beat Naruto now. Well, I guess this new crop of Gennins are going to be really fierce, he would say, chuckling, considering the fact that he really didn't know how to feel about this. At this, Orochimaru, who was in disguise as the Kazekage, would actually nod at this, as everyone was there. Now, Naruto was also there in his fit. He was buff, looking nice, looking all drippy and everything. As all the females were just blushing, looking at his chest, of course, as he was really showing that he had trained for this. Up in the stands, you could see Ino just drooling at his expense, while even someone like Sakura was even blushing at him. That's Naruto? Thought everyone. As they remember the blonde, knuckleheaded ninja that used to go around pranking people, back in his old days. And now here he was, standing tall and proud, tallest of all the Gennins, and over here looking as if he's about to smack each one of them. Like, literally, man was the definition of big-bodied. And I mean, like, not like that. I mean, he was the definition of built. At this, the proctor would go ahead and announce the first exams, causing all the contestants to go up into the stands, of course, leaving only Neji and Naruto behind. It was at this moment Tenten began to spout her nonsense, how Neji was the rookie of the year, and how he was gonna clap Naruto, trying to be one of Neji's only dedicated fangirls. At this, Neji would go ahead and look at him. Uzumaki, fate had already decided me to win, so you should go ahead and quit now while you have the chance, he would say. At this, Naruto will go ahead and look at him, then say nothing. What's the point of saying something to a man who's a hopeless case? At this, Neji will once again begin to spiel about everything. As when Neji is speaking, Naruto would just feel weird. He feels like Neji is trying to start a rebellion or a cult or something. At the end, as if he's a deity or a god, saying how fate this, how fate that, as if he was some sort of god, how fate chose him to be one. At this, Naruto goes ahead and speaks up. If your fate makes any sense at all, then wouldn't that destine you to only be of not even part of the main branch? You should even be a prodigy then. Because if anything, the fate should be supporting anyone in this case. It should be supporting the main branch. So I don't know what fate you're talking about. This would just piss off Neji to no extent, as he was going to go and act his Byakugan, saying that he will make Naruto regret those words. At this, the proctor would then begin the exam, as Neji would dash off at Naruto with top speeds, trying to hit the blonde. However, as soon as he goes ahead and tries to go for a palm strike, Naruto would just turn into Mochi, allowing the palm strike to just go right through him, not really causing him any harm, shocking everyone in the crowd, and Neji included. What? He would yell. At this, he would continue, trying to bombard Naruto with palm strikes, trying to hit him, but Naruto would just turn into Mochi, avoiding them, creating little holes in his body, as he would just dodge them effectively. Up in the stands. Now, unlike the timeline, Guy and Rock Lee had made it on time, actually, as they were actually watching this fight in suspense. Like, Naruto's dodging all of Neji's attack while still standing still. At this, Neji tried to, swipe Naruto down, trying to hit him, but Naruto would just dodge all of them. And his arms would still be crossed during this entire time. Damn it, he would say. At this, Tenten was just speechless. Naruto was not even doing anything at all, not even like moving during Neji's strikes. As Ino was also in shock, considering the fact that she knew that Naruto was strong and everything, but to do this means that he was definitely not even on their level. Sakura, however, was just looking at this with a fond smile. Yep, my teammate is awesome, she would think. As all the Jonis were actually impressed with Naruto's skill, eventually Naruto had enough of this. Neji, Hyuga, I'm gonna say this now. If anything, your abilities are still beneath mine. Although you have trained very long, I have trained much longer. I have known and I have known my abilities. I can see a gap between us. And at this, Naruto was not speaking like all arrogant and everything, like a Hyuga or like an Uchiha. No, he was just stating it as if it was 100% guaranteed, and like it was not like as if he was acting arrogant or crazy or anything. He was just stating like a fact, like something like, you're definitely not on my level, and I don't see you as someone on my level. At this would just piss off Neji to no extent, as he then says, "Damn you! As he then has an idea, well, the thing I already have that then. As he then goes ahead and begins to do a certain, well, he goes into a certain stance. A stance that all the Hyugas and almost everyone is familiar with. The 8 trigrams, 64 palms, he would say. As he begins to go through it. 1 palm, 2 palm, he would say. As Naruto would just dodge him effectively, considering the fact that his observation haki has skyrocketed during the training to the point where he could already see what's going to happen. And he already knows all the sequence of the attack and where they're aimed at, and he already prepared his body to prepare it to turn into Mochi and Dodge. As Neji will go through the entire palm stretch, 8 palms, 2 palms, 64 palms, he'll go ahead and go through all of it. He'll go through the entire segment. However, to everyone's surprise, Naruto had effectively dodged each one of them, as Neji would just be in shock. He had not even landed a single hit onto Naruto. What? How? At this, Neji would then, really wonder, how the heck did he do it? As Naruto would then say, have you had enough? And this causes Neji to look down until he glares at Naruto. Don't underestimate me, he would say. At this, he would begin to spin in a rotation, as he would actually begin to rotate, use the rotation to try to hit Naruto, which Naruto does actually get hit by, getting pushed back a little, causing Neji to actually have a smirk on her face. At this, everyone will begin to cheer for Neji, saying that how, he was gonna win and everything, as, Tensum begins to spill her nonsense. However, no, the Jonins, the Genins, and even the Chunins were all looking at this as if, like, were they stupid or something? Did they not just see that it took the Hyuga's strongest technique, that even the Hyuga's strongest technique was not enough to actually injure the boy? And the only way that Neji was even able to push him back, just that, not even injure him, push him back, was literally able to do the rotation. That's it. They're acting as if they gave him a fatal injury. At this, Naruto would then, look at him as he goes ahead and he begins to exert his Conqueror's Haki. At this, a pressure would begin to shoot out, causing Neji to actually gulp in fear. Do you now understand the gap between us? You're over here acting as if you actually harmed me, but as you can clearly see, I'm still standing, and I don't see even a trickle of blood on my skin. At this, Neji would actually take a good observation, and he even has the Byakugan on, and he realized that Naruto had not even a single injury on him. Neji would then think, I can't touch him. He's untouchable, he would think. As he would just be looking at this, and Naruto was exerting his Conqueror's Haki while bloodlust. Not to the extent where he passes out, where Neji passes out and everything, but only to the extent where Neji actually begins to whimper in fear. Is this what it means to be powerless, he would think? Neji just feels like he wouldn't be able to touch Naruto. Not at all. And Naruto would go ahead and say, but if you really want me to demonstrate it, I will show you. At this, Naruto would then vanish, shocking everyone, as he then appears in front of Neji with the Kakumochi, as he will go ahead and punch Neji on his actual forehead, shocking everyone, as Neji would then be slammed into the ground, causing a big crater to form on there. At this, everyone just goes silent, as Naruto's fist will go ahead and return back to normal. He will look down at the beaten form of Neji, who was now unconscious, as Naruto actually made a dent, like his knuckles actually have a dent on Neji's forehead. I think I took it that way too far, thought Naruto. As everyone would just be silent until suddenly they'll begin to hear clapping, then more clapping, then eventually it'll then turn into a full-on uproar and applause as everyone was cheering for the blonde. At this, Naruto was actually surprised by this. What? Naruto would think, as he actually is surprised. But then again, these people are the same shallow people that he always known. So he will go ahead and shrug his shoulders as Naruto will be declared the winner of the match, while he goes ahead and walks back to the stands. Wow, I guess you're no longer one of us losers, he would say. Actually, Shikamaru would say. Sorry, I accidentally got confused. As Naruto will go ahead and look at him and say, we're not really called losers, we shouldn't be using that to describe people. Because then again, losers are the ones with the most potential. He would say this calmly. At this, Shikamaru would just look at him and thinks, yup, he definitely became more troublesome. At this, he would then chuckle, but then again, that's what makes him interesting. As Neji would have been escorted, Naruto would have gone ahead and just, sat down on the stands waiting for the next matchups to arrive, so that way he can go ahead and get this over with. Now we go ahead and continue on as we now see all the other matches continue like they did in canon. Shikamaru would surrender against Temari, considering the fact that he was almost out of chakra, of course, and practically all the matches would continue on like they did in canon, all the way leading up to Gaara versus Sasuke. Now at this, the Hokage was waiting for Gaara to appear, as he did so, as he would eventually do so. But now they were waiting for Sasuke, who still hadn't appeared yet. Sir, if Sasuke Uchiha does not appear, what do we do? He would ask. At this, Hokage goes ahead and says that if he does not appear in 5 more minutes, he will, actually no, not even 5 more minutes. If he does not appear in like 3 more minutes, he will be disqualified, he would say. At this, the Kazekage was upset about this, but he would actually think, if he doesn't have Sasuke, then there's always, as he goes ahead and looks at Naruto, who's actually just there calmly looking at the arena, as he actually has a mischievous grin under his mask. I'll have Naruto-kun, he would think. As we go ahead and wait, we see, begin to wait for 3 minutes, as, Sakura was really wondering where the heck was Sasuke now, as well as everyone else as they were waiting for it. Eventually, however, they will then be stopped until a large surrounding of leaves would then appear, revealing Sasuke Uchiha in his emo clothing, of course, as well as Kakashi Hatake accompany him. Sorry, are we late? He would ask. At this, the proctor would nod his head, as Sasuke would then throw a challenging smirk at Naruto, who doesn't even reciprocate it with one of his own, considering the fact he doesn't really care for Sasuke. In fact, Sasuke is just one of the random people in this village for him, not even a friend. At this, Sasuke would just grit his teeth as he goes ahead and faces off against Gaara. Alright, let the matches begin, he would say. At this, Gaara would go ahead and shoot a bunch of sand at Sasuke, as he would go ahead and dodge each one of them, countering with his own attacks, of course. As Naruto was actually watching this, he's moving just the same as Lee without his weight, he would think. As Lee was also in shock, considering the fact that Sasuke was moving so fast and so powerful. And this will continue on practically the same way as it did in canon. However, Sasuke would have done much better than he did in canon, considering the fact that, his jealousy and his superiority complex to Naruto, trying to become superior to him, just, pushed him even further. As eventually he was able to actually catch Gaara off guard and was able to do a couple more damage than he did in canon. However, once again, he would go ahead and do the Chidori, rushing at Gaara, and eventually hitting him in the stomach, in the shoulder, causing Gaara to scream in agony, seeing his blood. My blood, I see it. At this, he will begin to go ahead and transform, shocking everyone, as this is when the beginning of the Konoha attack begins. As Naruto would now think that it was about time that he makes his move. As suddenly Naruto, who was now just sitting down, would have been vanished by now using just pure speed alone, as he appears all the way at the top of the stadium. However, before this man even gets a chance to speak, he would then be knocked unconscious by Naruto's Conqueror's Haki, as he went ahead and forced it on him. I can't have you getting in the way and harming this village, he would say. As the man would have been knocked out unconscious, all the other ones who were planning to place the Genjutsu would have all been knocked out by Naruto's Conqueror's Haki, as he goes ahead and jumps down into the arena. Now with Gaara, he would have already begun to go on a rampage, as he then jumps out of the arena, destroying the wall, of course, and leaving. Now Sasuke would be in shock. However, this villain, since they're not unconscious, would actually also be in shock as well, as Naruto would have jumped down. Great, he would think. Sasuke seeing Naruto then asked, Naruto? What's happening? He would say. However, he didn't even get a chance by Naruto just looking at him in the eyes. No time, he would say. At this, he would then turn to the Proctor, also known as Genma, who actually nods at Naruto's expense, considering the fact he knows how strong Naruto is. At this, Naruto would nod, and he would go after Gaara, of course, considering the fact that that's got to be his main priority, considering the fact that he already had a little someone taking care of Orochimaru. It was at this point that Orochimaru would then grit his teeth, as he already knew that Naruto took care of him, considering the fact that he already sensed Naruto's presence vanish and appear once again. That brat! He stopped him with putting on the genjutsu, he would think. At this, Orochimaru would then go ahead and reveal his presence, known kicking Hiruzen out of the Hokage's booth, as he then says, "Well, Hiruzen Sarutobi, it looks like it's about time that you die. Or should I say sensei," he would say. At this, Hiruzen would then look at him with the same expression before going into his own smirk. "You should have calculated even further, old student of mine," he would say. "Yup, that's right, old friend," said a voice coming from behind Orochimaru. At this, Orochimaru was so familiar with this voice. It can't be, he would think. At this, suddenly behind him would then reveal Jiraiya, the Toad Sage. As he was right next to Hiruzen, as he was actually right behind Orochimaru with the kunai to his neck. Again, I'm sorry if you guys hear that background noise. People just don't know how to shut up. Sorry. But yeah. So Jiraiya would go ahead and be behind Orochimaru with the kunai and says, "This is the end of the line, Orochimaru. This is your grave." At this will be the beginning of the invasion arc of Konoha. As this is where I'm in the video, hope you guys do enjoy this what if. Yeah, this series is going on, and I'm not gonna lie, it's fire. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's pretty good. And once again, like I said, I'm not restraining my voice just to make these videos, okay? Because I care about the story and everything. But still, I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Enjoy the improvements I made to Naruto. He will be able to use the 8 inner gates. He will be moving like a snake, like, you know, how Orochimaru moves. And, you know, he is eventually getting stronger, of course. But, you know, I'm not going to make him... Well, actually, you know what? Never mind. I already made him that OP, so screw it. Hope you guys do enjoy this what if. Hope you guys enjoy this channel. And either way, it is Great Zage, and I'm out. Peace.